Greetings friends, it's Coleraine or Coleraine Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them. And I am so grateful and excited to be reading for you today. It is such an honor. And this theme of the video that you are watching is what is happening, what is being illuminated in love for you. So this is kind of a broad range of, what love means to you and how it's manifesting in your life. This is timely in terms of when I'm filming it, but timeless. So if you are coming across this at a later date, do not feel discouraged. But yeah, the theme of this and the energy that is infused in this reading is going to be connected to Diwali, which just happened a few days ago. So we're kind of like coming through the nights of Diwali. As well as we are approaching Samhain in the Northern Hemisphere. And Samhain is the time when the veil is thin. Also Dia de los Muertos. So lots of energy around going into the darkness and coming out with the light. And as we enter the dark time of the year for the Northern Hemisphere, and the days begin to shorten and we connect with the realm of the ancestors in the darkness. So our ancestors are very much connected to our sense of love, our sense of connection. They want us to have those proper relationships that nourish us, that help us to create deeper bonds of kinship, of connection. So yeah, that is my intention for this reading. I have called on my guides of wisdom, compassion, truth, and alignment, as well as yours. And if you are ready, you should have been seeing the pile selection within this video. So I will see you in your group. Bye. Hello, beautiful group one. If you selected this iolite crystal and this heart-shaped oracle card, this is your love reading. What is being illuminated in love for you? So immediately when I tap into your energy, pile one, there's this essence of having gone through maybe a difficult time recently, feeling like you are kind of, I don't want to say blocked in love, but it feels like there may be other, I want to say neurochemical processes that are obstructing or limiting your ability to feel love. And this is beyond just intimacy. This feels like more of maybe some depression symptoms that are influencing how you're able to indulge in the pleasures of life, feel connected in your life, find a sense of love with, the things that you're experiencing around you, the relationships with pets, family, I feel like this extends much further into other areas of life for you. And of course, I am not a licensed medical professional. These videos are for giving you some kind of insight into what is going on in your life rather than an answer. This should be something that you already know, already suspect. So I just want to throw that out there when I am using terms that are used clinically. So yeah, let's get into what the cards have to say. So this is the card that you selected. I'm going to lay out a couple other cards to kind of give an overview. Okay. Yeah, so group one, you have the Five of Skins, which is the Five of Wands. This is from the Blood Moon Tarot. Two of Skins, so lots of fire energy going on in your group. Maybe you're focused more on what you believe around love, what your philosophy around love is, because, everything in our life we have a philosophy around, even something as kind of expansive and pervasive in the universe as love. There are philosophies around that allow us to touch, to experience, to conceptualize what love really means to us. And so it almost seems like something has locked you into place, group 2. Or group 2, interesting. Maybe you have messages in group 2 as well. I haven't filmed that yet, so I don't know. But yeah, group 1. It seems like maybe there's a relationship in your past that you're still hung up on that has kind of changed the way that you believe that love or intimacy or relationships in general are possible for you. And the 5 of Skins too, it's like the snakes are like surrounding this person's head. They're kind of like circling around the third eye. I almost feel like a lot of you are maybe stuck in like analysis paralysis of some kind, where you're trying to analyze your feelings rather than just feel them in a lot of ways. And especially this is being emphasized with the sacred, I almost said the sacred garden instead of secret garden, but secret garden, sacred space with earth and water elements, saying cultivate your space, inner beauty, and self-care. So yeah, there's something about using these elements, because the elements of water and earth are the opposite of fire and air. And so it seems like you've been stuck in this fire and air mentality, like maybe trying to make it happen. Maybe some of you are seeking out experiences that you feel like are going to enhance your experience of love, but really it's like your spirit guides and the way that like your own energy body is functioning right now is like seeking rest. It's seeking a more passive approach to accept love and to accept the experience of love rather than to pursue it and to chase it. So this is cultivate your space, inner beauty, and self-care. Exactly. There's something about like tending to your own needs, especially if you are experiencing something like symptoms of depression. Like this can definitely be remedied through acts of intentional self-care. And self-care doesn't necessarily mean isolation, because for some of you, I feel like part of what is being illuminated in love for you right now has to do with how you've been approaching self-care, how you've been maybe isolating yourself from love, or you felt isolated from love. And so I feel like for a lot of you, it's about softening in some ways the defensiveness, softening your mental state as well, so that the mind isn't becoming overworked. The mind isn't having to explain what love is to you, or explain why certain relationships turned out the way that they did, and instead allowing yourself to turn inward, find your inner beauty, cultivate your space, and reconnect with the parts of you that are needing to feel like they can relax. So for a lot of you, part of that depression is because your nervous system has been overworked, like overstimulated for a long time. And so it's time to really begin to listen to where you want to go, and begin to reimagine the possibilities and the potentialities in your life for the things that you've been through, no matter how hard, no matter how difficult, no matter how heartbreaking they may have been, to like kind of be like the fungi, like compost and like breathe like death into those experiences so that they can flourish and like feed the new life that's trying to grow in your life. And I feel like for a lot of you, like the love that's being illuminated is your potential to love yourself. So this is the card that you selected that probably drew you in some ways. So I want to give you a moment to just look at the intuitive imagery. The artist and author Toni Carmine Salerno, who made this deck, she did such a beautiful job. So yeah, there's something about, I feel like with this card, like again, like connecting to like the potentials of your heart, to like what's being illuminated in that like higher heart chakra, which is in between the heart chakra, Anahata, and Visuddha, the throat. So there's something about like that deeper communication with spirit that's happening from the intuitive sphere of the heart, and like what is wanting to be expressed through you. Even with this color too, is very higher heart chakra. So let's see what this card says. It says, look inside yourself. Yes. So examine what is causing you to feel this way. And I think that that's an interesting message, because I was picking up on the fact that you have been analyzing things. So it may be that like part of this analysis process like has totally been necessary, but now what's being illuminated out of that analysis, or the analysis paralysis perhaps, is the fact that there are some aspects of your own personality, the way that you're thinking, the way that you were conditioned, the way that you maybe have been coping with your emotions for some of you, that have contributed to relationship patterns that are harmful, that are hurting you, that make you feel like, you know, maybe you burn yourself out every couple months or something like that. Like there's something about it not being sustainable, this energy of love, because I do feel like this self-care energy, the sacred space, the secret garden type of energy is like what will help you to look inside yourself, to, instead of like trying to solve yourself or fix yourself in some ways, like really just be present and have awareness. And I think that's like maybe the contention that has been happening for a lot of you. And you even chose the Iolite, which is about intuition. You know, our intellect can be very intuitive in some ways, but if it's not paired with the sense of grounding, the sense of feeling, the sense of just acceptance, it can become like we're over analyzing, we're too stuck in the mind. Like in yoga, there's a concept of chitta vritti, this like the fluctuations of the mind. And so it feels like maybe you've been giving into that, or in Buddhism it would be called like the monkey mind, like the mind that's just kind of like you know, flitting from this way to that, and there's no like grounding into the experience, connecting with what the body's trying to say. So this is the intuitive image, and this is what it says. Beyond the threshold of fear, it is your fear holding you back, like a bar behind the door. Your relationship with fear is changing. No more shall it hold you in its thrall. You are becoming able to observe it, to experience it, to have compassionate wisdom rather than resistance. Oh, what a spiritual marathon you have been running. Now the end is in sight. The power that you used to give fear is now transferred to your extraordinary heart. That is such a confirmation of everything in this reading. I really feel like anything that has hurt you in the past, anything that, you know, has been caught up in the mind that is related to fear, like taking that time, like this card says, to like become aware of it, to observe it, to experience it, and to have compassionate wisdom. This is a form of self-care for you, to allow you to recognize that you are inherently worthy of love, that loving experiences surround you in all ways. Fear is the greatest disruptor to love. And so I feel like, this is like your mind becoming almost like forced to surrender into the energy of love, because it's like your spirit guides have been trying to bring this to you. They've been wanting to see you thrive in this energy. They've been wanting to see you experience more love in your life, but it's like that fear keeps getting in the way. So what a beautiful way to wrap this message up. And you have two final oracle cards, and they both have such a green energy. So there is something about tuning into the heart space, maybe doing heart chakra meditations on a hatha chakra, doing yoga poses if you do practice yoga, like heart openers, ones that open, like I'm thinking of even like cat pose, where you're opening up the back space of the heart. And then maybe even like cobra pose, where you're opening up the front part of the chest, like cat-cow you could do. But anyway, yeah, your affirmations here are: my happiness is a choice I make and pursue actively. Even if there are like physiological factors that are contributing to a feeling of like depression, isolation, hopelessness, there are choices that we can make to kind of counter that inevitability or that hopelessness that you may feel when these physiological things come forward. Instead of approaching those sensations with judgment, with fear, with even like revulsion, like reviling it, like feeling like, ugh, I need to get away from this, there is this like opportunity here where it's like you can make the choice to pursue your happiness, rather than to just pursue like these conditioned ideas of what you think love should be. I hope that makes sense. And then finally it says, I take time to cleanse my space and surroundings. So yes, group 1, I take time to cleanse my space and surroundings. So getting kind of a refresh, maybe even like cleansing your space. I'm seeing like somebody clearing out their emails, clearing out their work, what's that called? Their work office area, like paper files and stuff. Even your wardrobe. Yeah, there's just something about like your bag that you carry with you everywhere. I don't know. Cleaning stuff out and kind of like reorganizing. Even like energetic cleanses. Like, so for some of you, this is going to be salt. This is going to be burning different herbs, calling on, spiritual cleanses. You can even imagine something like the flame, cleansing your home. You can do chants to cleanse. There's lots of different ways to cleanse that are going to be specific to you, that you'll feel drawn to. But yeah, group 1, that is all I'm seeing for you. I hope you have a very happy Diwali, Samhain, Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, whatever you celebrate, whatever your heart resonates with at this time. I hope it is a happy time for you. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in another video. Bye. Greetings, group 2. If you selected this second group with the aventurine crystal, this is your reading on what is being illuminated in love for you right now in this season of the waning light, to the light that is more focused, more directed. So that's interesting, group 2. You have a sense of refining your focus in the realms of love. So maybe some of you have been using, if you are watching this in a timely manner, maybe some of you use this recent new moon in Libra to manifest new love, to get really clear on like what your goals are in relationships and in love. Maybe some of you have been really like focused on self-love in some ways, or like redefining what love means to you in some ways. So let's get into what the cards are saying. This is the card that you chose that probably drew you into this reading, if not the crystal. Aventurine, I want to comment on that really quickly. Aventurine is about opening to new experiences. It's about calling in luxury, abundance, enjoyment in our lives. So there is something about like optimism or finding, like turning a new leaf in this time in your life around love. So let's see what this card says. And you can see that there are people embracing each other and they're both looking right ahead. So for some of you, I am getting the sense that this person who's like surrounding this person, it's almost like they've enveloped this person. So I don't know if you're in some type of relationship or connection that feels like it's a little, I feel like suffocating is too harsh of a word, but there's something about like, just like it disrupting maybe some of your self-love, or I don't know. Maybe I'm not describing that properly. Let's see what it says. Friendship. Nurture the bonds of friendship within your relationship and your love life will dramatically improve. So that's what it is. It's like maybe like there's not great boundaries in this connection. That's what I was trying to find. Or like some type of like enmeshment, or potentially like running the risk of codependency for some of you. And I feel like that energy of friendship, like what do you do with your friends in your life? You allow them to be who they are. There isn't this kind of expectation of like the amount of time, the amount of energy, the amount of emotional responsibility that you would have for each other. Like there's a sense of like more healthy boundaries maybe that you practice with your friends, but maybe don't expect in intimacy or in romantic relationships. So yeah, there's something here about that energy in this, like whatever connection you have. And if you're not in a relationship, it could be that you're like idealizing that, and that can be part of how you might refine your manifestations. And as well, for another group of you, I am really feeling like this is talking about how deep your friendships are and how deeply loving and invested your friends are in your life. And I feel like for a lot of you, focusing on the energy of friendship in your life, no matter what relationships you have in your life, is going to help you to feel like you are able to shed some of these dynamics of codependency. Because no matter what your relationship status is, group 2, there is something about letting go, releasing the old in relationships, and focusing on the core of what these relationships mean to you, and like what you expect from the relationships in your life as well. So let's see what this card is. This is from the Rumi Oracle. Here's like the intuitive image. And I really feel like, again, this is emphasizing that like self-love. Like I just feel that energy from this card. And there's like this womb portal almost like next to this person. They're like being drawn into it. So it definitely feels like this is a time for connecting with like your deeper emotions, your deeper sense of like receptivity, like what you allow in your life, who you allow in your life, what types of behaviors you want to engage with in your relationships, what makes you feel loved, what makes you feel like you want to give love in a lot of ways. So let's see what this says. And it says passion for purpose. Love, like life, flows through the heart. Your heart is questing for deeper meaning. It desires certainty as to your sacred tasks for this lifetime. I call to you now, the you that is beyond your mind, the you that is your heart. To that you, I ask, what stirs the passions of your nature? Do that, be that. So again, like with this idea of friendship, like there's a sense of like coming into deeper, more healthy co-creation in your life, understanding what lights you up, understanding what you feel like is worth your time, worth your energy, what's pouring back into you, what opens your heart up, what lights you up. This is what's being illuminated in your love, in this realm of love for you right now. Sorry, group 2. I'm just so excited in your energy because it feels like there's so much potential. And for some of you, if you are really hung up on love, if you are really hung up on, having a partnership and you don't have that in your life, there is a sense of like surrendering and letting yourself into a deeper loving relationship to yourself that will quickly allow for relationships in your life to mirror that, to reflect that to you. And I'm sure you've heard that if you've been engaging with other readings, but I'm just here to confirm that, to affirm that that's not a frivolous thing, that even if it might sound cliche, really investing in what gives you passion, what indulges your life, what gives your life meaning, is going to help you to have deeper relationships. Because if we're filling a void with other people in our life, that's like doomed to become kind of in that codependent energy, because we don't have a sense of self outside of the relationships. So this is definitely like a period of healing for you in that way. Your oracle card down here, your last oracle, and then the tarot that you have down here, you have the Ethiopian opal, fertile ground with water and air. So there's something about like the psychic realm where like the mind is meeting the emotions, and again, that's pointing to the heart space. Another group has been kind of focused on that heart energy, which is not surprising, but you may be drawn to it. Pegasus, unicorn energy, rainbow child. So some of you might really be into horses or fantasy. or horses, unicorns, Pegasus may be significant to you. That idea of like kind of unique, almost like the magical qualities of animal spirits is what I'm feeling from this. With fertile ground too, like maybe there's something of like returning to tending to your inner child in some ways. Yeah, with this rainbow child as well, like maybe things that lit up your sense of wonder, your sense of enjoyment when you were a child, like that may be part of what's unlocking this like passion. I'm being drawn to the fact that there are some crows outside of my apartment right now. You can probably hear them. They're like going crazy almost, like they're just cawing and cawing. But this may be a sign for you, group 2, that there is some animal guides that really want to support your energy of love and helping you to recognize what this love means for you. Yeah. Because I feel like this is almost showing too like an aura upgrade. Maybe like getting your sparkle back in some ways if you have been in difficult relationships or if you have been in codependent connections, like kind of reclaiming your energy. So that something new may grow in your life. And with the strength card here too, it's like, I definitely feel like everyone who chooses this group is going to have some sense of like having felt like they are at the end of someone else's blade in some ways, and are having to push through and see themselves, like, or see yourself, sorry, I'm like speaking in the third, yeah, sorry. That might even be the energy that you're in some ways, is like trying to explain where you're coming from, but then also almost like getting tied up over it or tongue tied, like having a little bit of difficulty figuring out like how what you're coming from is helping you to grow something new in your life. The strength card really feels like this point of recognizing that you are midway through a journey, in terms of how you relate to others, how you find love. And that it is okay to have some wounds around love, or feel like, you know, you're imperfect, but you still are worthy of love. You still have this like hopefulness, you have this like kind of innocence about you in some ways that even if you feel like has been corrupted by some of the people who you've had in your life, like it doesn't negate the amount of strength that it took to get through some of these situations. And with the 3 of Honey too, again, this is emphasizing friendship. So I feel like leaning on friends, or maybe some of you I feel like have been holding back with like sharing how you feel. And I feel like there are 2 or 3 friends in your life who would be really great confidants. For some of you as well, this means like if you have been in a relationship that you want to make work, finding some type of outside help, like a therapist, a mentor, a coach, whether it be like going together or by yourself, there is some type of support that I feel like will help you to tap into this strength energy and to overcome and transmute anything that has been holding you back or making you feel like, yeah, your passion for life is has been obstructed from you, or is unclear. Because I do feel like it's taken a lot of strength to get to this point where you're recognizing that there are certain things that are maybe missing, or that you feel like there is deeper fulfillment out there for you. You just maybe haven't understood how to get in connection with that in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, there's quite a few messages for you, group 2, just about like returning to that state of wonder, and not being so dependent on the people around you to make you feel like you're in the energy of love and enjoyment, because that is something that comes from within you naturally. So let's see your affirmation to close the reading. And you have, I move on with ease and comfortable flow. So there's definitely something about shedding, about letting go, about even like finding magical ways to transcend, like the unicorn and the Pegasus lifts themselves, and they kind of, I'm thinking there's definitely like a deep story that is about the Pegasus energy. Hold on one moment. I feel like I really need to read you this. So one second. Okay, this is the book I'm going to read from, Brady's Book of Fixed Stars. And this is the section on Pegasus, the winged horse. So it says, horses were part of the transition that led from hunter-gatherer, Paleolithic, to the cultivating Neolithic village. They earned their place in the sky because they were the central theme of many cultures, from as early as 12,000 BCE to only 100 years ago. It is only in recent times that the human race has started to let go of its obsession with the horse. Little is known of the origin of the horse symbolism in the sky, but in Celtic or Gaelic mythology, the horse was the most sacred animal and entrusted only to the goddesses. The Celts, or Gaels, developed from a form of bridle and chariot, and the speed of one's chariot was the measure of one's worth. Men warred with horses and chariots, but the goddess protected and ruled over them. The Morris dancers' traditional horse head stick or hobby horse, symbolizing the ride of the goddess on the white horse, also known as the ride of Lady Godiva, is a simple example of the vestiges of horse and goddess mythology still available in the 20th century Celtic or Gaelic English society. The story of Rhiannon, a Gaelic horse goddess, is a grim reminder of the living presence of Gaelic mythology in the collective. Rhiannon was accused of killing her newborn child, and the blood of a dog was used as evidence against her. She proclaimed her innocence, but was not believed. She was thus punished by having to stay at the gates of the castle and offer any passerby a ride on her back. For 20 years, she stayed at the gate and always protested her innocence. Eventually, she was proven innocent. This definitely goes along with this card. This story was played out in modern times in the Australian desert when the story of the horse goddess Rhiannon was reenacted in the life of Lindy Chamberlain, who was accused of killing her newborn child after she protested that a dingo, a wild dog, had eaten it. After conviction and imprisonment, new evidence found her not guilty. The case was a global sensation, as if the scattered ancestors of the ancient Gaels were instinctually responding to this ancient myth. So they're saying that Pegasus comes from the Andromeda constellation, so maybe you're connected to Andromeda in some ways. So it's saying Pegasus could have meanings in addition to the domestication of the horse, for Pegasus forms a great square in the sky. It's going into deeper star stuff that I don't think is super relevant here. But yeah, there's something about working with the goddess, reconnecting to like letting go. Also with that Rhiannon story, there is a sense like she never let go of her innocence, but she did have to let go of the control of her life and like how people were seeing her. So it's saying, the Pegasus can be linked to great magical square and the mythological and theological concepts of four, at the very least, which four would be like home, foundations. At the very least, it is associated with focused action. That's exactly what I started this reading with. Focused action and ability, while also indicating knowledge and learning, the emerging worldview of science. So, you're definitely seeing things a little more clearly, like getting really focused on what is important to you in love, what actually makes you feel loved in a lot of ways. And with that, like moving on, it's like about moving on from these dynamics and situations of the past that maybe kept you in pain in love. So that is all I'm seeing for you, my beautiful group 2. Thank you so very much for being here. If you are interested in a personal reading, I have all of my information linked down below. I will see you in another reading, my friend. Bye. Greetings, group 3. If you selected this third group with the citrine, this is your message about what is being illuminated for you in love right now. So, group 3, immediately I was feeling this sense of magnetism in your energy. This is the card that you chose. So we'll see what it says. And it says, Soulmate. Yeah, your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. So I was getting the sense from your guides that this is going to be more of a classic love message. It definitely feels like those of you who selected this pile, you are either in some type of relationship or you are like on the verge of meeting this person. But yeah, the idea of magnetism, like you can kind of have anyone, anything you want, even if you're not looking for a relationship or you're already in a relationship. This is about pulling and drawing into your life like something or someone that feels like a soulmate. Feeling like there are energies around you that are meeting you on a deeper level, helping you to connect with yourself on a deeper level, helping you to see your worth, your value in a new way as well. And I definitely get the sense for you, group 3, that with the citrine that you chose as well, that there is an energy of like people in your life who want to appreciate you for who you are and like allow you to shine in a lot of ways. So with the citrine energy here. So your second oracle card is from the Rumi Oracle. Here's the image. And what it says on the back is, Star Mother Arrakis, be the king who has made his own kingdom. Our Star Mother keeps an eye on all the wild games happening in the sacred playground of the earth, shining her divine justice and protection. No bully shall prevail over you. No bully from within you shall prevail. Oh, no bully from within you shall prevail either. You are the child so secure in the love of our mother that you can trust life and your ability to face whatever comes implicitly. So yeah, this is such a beautiful message. I really feel like for those of you, so not everybody in this group is going to be in some type of like committed, healthy partnership, of course, but it definitely feels like for those of you where this is like an illumination, where maybe you are in a partnership but like things haven't been going well, like this is an illumination of like who or what a real soulmate is to you. And if you already have that, this is just going to be a deepening of that. So yeah, either way, it's like maybe, if you've been in relationships in the past where there was this bullying type of energy or like envy or coercion or things like that, where there's just like an energy of like basically like unsupportive, like that's really what it comes down to, whether it's envy or jealousy or like sabotage and things like that. But yeah, there's a sense of you like recognizing where that doesn't line up with what you really want and deserve. So yeah, and I'm noticing that like the sun, the way that it's coming through my windows is like illuminating like the face of this like divine mother. So yeah, for a lot of you, you're definitely being watched over. You have some type of protection, whether that is like a mother figure in spirit. That could be, grandmother, great-grandmother, or mother, or even like an older sibling who has like more of a feminine energy in the spirit realm. And for some of you, this is potentially like a grandfather or father figure who is like very strong in the divine feminine. But yeah, it definitely, just right now, like what is being illuminated is like what does a real soulmate look like to you? Like, yeah, I feel like I've said that already, but yeah, being able to trust others, to trust in love, to trust in that energy in your life, in your deservingness to experience that energy in your life as well. So let's see what your tarot has to say. I'm not going to read reversals today. And then we have one other oracle, so making sure you can see that. So yeah, you have here the 5 of Songs or 5 of Cups, 5 of Water, and then the Justice card and the Subterranean Nodules, Way Shower with Earth energy, shake up the system and cellular upgrades. So there's definitely something, again, with this like shaking up the system, Way Shower. It's like the illumination that's happening is a path of like true fulfillment for you. And this is so beautiful, group 3, because it feels like for you, this is like releasing any baggage, any like karmic ties, any knots that are like trying to threaten your ability to feel worthy of love, worthy of connection. With justice here, it's like this is like true justice happening in your life. And like the vulture is really standing out to me too, with the heart on the back. It's like this vulture is like watching over what you're leaving behind that's dead, that's dying, and like creating new life from it, and also preventing like the disease of that dead thing from infesting your current life and like where you're headed. So it feels like there's like a really strong purification that's happening in your life with this illumination, helping you to move on like from things that have broken, with this like guitar that's broken, and this person's like looking over it like, oh, like the strings don't, they don't work, it won't make this like beautiful sound that it once made. And like maybe for some of you it's like seeing a certain partnership, whether this be one in the past or one that you're currently in, with new eyes of like self-respect, essentially, like things that like once made you feel happy or enjoyment, they're actually like you're seeing them for what they are. And there's like a sense of truth in this group as well, that the truth kind of comes to liberate you in some ways at this time, so that you can reclaim a sense of justice, so that you can like follow this new path, shake up your own system, especially if your own system has made room for bullying or things that reflected a lower sense of self-worth or were in a distorted form of love. Because there are forms of love that have like hatred in them, that have like judgment, that have bullying, that have these like ways of like creating like unequal like power dynamics between us and other people, but like they are in essence a form of love. And so like there is that part of ourselves that like still feels that love that we felt, that is maybe corrupted. And so like there's like a reckoning, that's what it feels like, that's happening in your life, group 3, that's helping to bring you into contact with people who are going to like vibrate at this frequency of love that is more nurturing, that's more wholesome, that tends to your needs, and also is like honoring of these other people's like their own needs as well, and like their desires. So right now, like group 3, I'm definitely getting the message that it's important for you to be seeking out justice for yourself. Like if this does mean like leaving a partnership, like that can be a loving action for sure, especially with that 5 of Cups, like definitely encouraging that. But if this is not about leaving a current partnership, this can be like mentally and emotionally leaving partnerships that don't align with this in the past, so that you can enter into and welcome the new in your life. Justice, I'm being drawn to this person holding the sword at the base of the image as well. So there's something about, like cutting things off, getting really clear about your place in the world is what I'm hearing, like the tools that are helpful to you. There was something specific that the guides were wanting to say, but I've lost it, so maybe it's not that important. But yeah, it just feels like there's like certain procedures that you can go through to really like get you into that energy of love and like focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. But for some of you, it does really feel important for you to like almost like have that like grieving ritual, like have the funeral for the things that you're leaving behind in a way, and like using proper tools to do that. So for some of you, that's going to be like through music, or even like maybe changing up your playlist. Like if you have certain songs in your playlist that remind you of a certain person, that are connected to a certain time period, are connected to a certain relationship, a way of thinking about people or love in general too. There's lots of toxic messages in music that encourage some unhealthy forms of connection. So there's something about this like the tools, the rituals that you're doing that can help you to move forward and like align your energy to this energy of love. Because I'm thinking about like when we listen to certain songs, like they're attuning to our body. Like our body like physically like vibrates and responds and like connects with the energy of that music. And so if we're like, you know, listening to songs that are about like true and healthy love, and they're you know, expressing that through lyrics or through rhythm or through the sound in some ways, like that can be like purifying and cleansing and kind of like lift our energy and align our energy with that. But if we're listening to music that's like, you know, kind of upset, like pushing that like obsession and certain like toxic dynamics, you know what I'm talking about, like that can like in the same way like attune you to it. So yeah, and it just feels like right now, like what's happening in your life in general is like things being cleared for this sense of upgrade. And like the Septarian energy comes from a volcanic eruption. So it may feel like what's happening in your life is really chaotic, and you may be wondering like, Coleraine, like I don't know what you're talking about, but just know that like the more you prepare yourself, the more that you hold yourself in this energy, the more that you embrace, like let's say you do have new connections coming into your life already, like the more that you embrace this kind of shake up within your life, the more that you're going to be able to see these upgrades and integrate these upgrades. Because it almost looks like these people are like in a grid, like a computer face or something, like they're like they could receive downloads almost. So yeah, and like no matter what, like whatever soulmate that you're supposed to meet, however this manifests, whatever form this love is in, like that energy is already within you. It's just for you to like unlock, for you to upgrade essentially. Like, and I don't necessarily resonate with like the whole like computer aspects of like spirituality or like calling ourselves like computer systems or technology systems, because we are beautiful organic matter. But I definitely feel like there's this aspect of you know, like when a computer like goes through a reboot, it just feels like that energy is in your aura, and it feels like in a way it's like helping you to receive more love. So you actually got a lot of affirmations, group 3, when I pulled them for you. So you got, I am confident I will be taken care of and abundant. I am confident I will be taken care of and abundant. And that goes back to this, like you're already in contact with that soulmate energy. So it's like more about like believing without seeing is a lot of what's happening in your life. Like if you really do want to experience love in certain forms, like believing that form is available and possible for you, and that you can handle it in some ways. And I think too, like this confidence energy, like saying to myself, like, or yourself, like I am confident, like affirming that in a lot of ways, and maybe through many different forms of saying the same thing. This will help you to recognize that like the universe shows you love through so many different forms of care and abundance, whether that be through friendships, through work relationships, through relationships with animals and plants, and like many different like forms of like love and connection that are often overlooked. Because it feels like this energy is like, no matter what this relationship means to you, it opens you up to the broader energy of love in the world in general, like not just from this person. And yeah, your affirmation in the center, I cherish and cultivate healthy relationships. This just like totally affirms that you are capable of cherishing and cultivating healthy relationships, and you don't have to look outside of yourself to experience that. And that even if you've gone through situations and relationships that feel somewhat unhealthy, or like there was like that bullying energy that you needed to be protected from, like there is justice coming in to rebalance and like to restore your hope in love and experiencing love between you and other people, as well as other manifestations of that love in the world. And your third affirmation is, I love being me and discover with curiosity. So yeah, a lot of this is like reawakening, like that citrine, like reawakening your sense of self-love, your sense of self-worth, your sense of curiosity and enjoyment in the world. And that in essence is what love in its healthiest form draws us into. It helps us to feel completely and totally like what's the word I'm looking for? In admiration of this world in admiration of life, and its many different complex and exciting and variable natures. So, and I think like there's a sense of like seeing the best qualities of yourself reflected in whoever this might represent for you, or seeing also like your own best qualities through somebody not being able to reflect that back to you. If you are in the camp of like those who are in relationships where it's like time to seek more love outside, in different relationships, and not necessarily rely on this person. Because right now, like, no matter what, like, you are the priority. You feeling confident, you feeling like you can be in healthy relationships, like that is what's genuinely being illuminated to you, and the most important part of like seeking justice for yourself at this time, and allowing for these changes to really be integrated into your life. So that is all I'm seeing for you, my beautiful pile number 3. Thank you so very much for being here. I'm so grateful for you, and I will see you in another reading, my friend. If you are interested in a personal reading, I have them available down below. Bye. Greetings, group 4. If you selected this 4th group with the crazy lace agate, this is your reading. So, the crazy lace agate, I'm trying to remember what its significance is, but I feel like it has a message for you. Something about like your uniqueness, like self-expression in a lot of ways, like letting go of kind of denser expectations for how you should express yourself. I feel like for this group there is a sense of what's being illuminated in love for you has to do with some of the more like overlooked aspects of love, and I'm thinking of like love for your body, or love from like plants, love from children. So some of you could be parents, or you work with kids, or you have like nieces and nephews, and like younger children that you care for. I wish that there were better like gender neutral terms for that, but I'm forced to kind of use what I have available to me in that. But you know what I mean, like there's a lot of connection in your life that I feel like is becoming heightened right now, and it also feels like you are in a place of deeper receptivity, even like taking time to like slow down. And this card, I'll start with it because I feel like it's in alignment with this. I don't really know what it's gonna say, but yeah, there is something about like turning within. Like before your reading, I just spent a good amount of time like sitting in silence, which I don't always do. Like sometimes I'm, receiving quite a bit of information from guides, but your spirit guides really cleared the space very, not intensely, but pretty like, I guess clearly. Like I just felt like a strong clearing. And I also am feeling drawn to like make a chime with a bell, so yeah, just a little aura cleanse. But yeah, it feels like what you've been doing is like taking time to like remove any barriers that you have to finding love, not only for yourself, but like love and connections, and recognizing that like one form of love doesn't prioritize or like isn't more important than another, is really what it feels like to me. And for some of you, this may be, something like polyamory, where you're trying like different forms or hierarchies, maybe even non-hierarchies of relationships. But for others of you, this is like recognizing where the love is most potent in your life, and how these different various forms of love manifest and express themselves. So let's see what this card says. It says, it is important right now to take a step back and spend some time alone. Yes. Instead of placing your focus on another, now is the time to give to yourself. So yeah, I kind of want to like hold this up and give you a moment, like if you want a screenshot. Because yeah, it's such a beautiful message, like giving time to yourself, going within, not really focusing on like what somebody else feels, or like prioritizing like their needs. I mean, of course, that's like a beautiful thing to do, group 4, but I feel like that this is like a time of like love in its many various forms to kind of like help restore you. So let's see what this card says. It kind of has a similar pose, like there's like this fetal pose. So I don't know if you've been like crying a lot, but if you have, like look at this angelic figure. You definitely have some spiritual support, some spiritual sympathy in some ways as well, like someone watching over you with a sympathetic heart, with a sympathetic soul. And it feels like too, for some of you, if you are like grieving the loss, like in terms of like somebody passing on to the other realm, I just am feeling like this is showing you or illuminating to you that love exists beyond the physical bond. And for some of you, I'm also feeling that if this wasn't a recent loss, this is an expression of like returning to the grief that that loss provided to you. And that is a really big theme of like the time of year that I am currently in when I'm filming this video, that like Samhain, Diwali, Dia de los Muertos, like it's all about like going into the other realms, like looking at the ancestors, looking at like the dark, and how it brings us life. And so there is something about like you recognizing that bonds can kind of transcend in some ways. So let's see what this card says. It says, arise, wings of hope languish from lack of use. Every cell in your body is created to rise to challenges. You have gumption, chutzpah, guts. You dare to love where others see only pain. You dare to believe that everything will work out where others will only see what they judge to be wrong. You seek freedom where the world succumbs to manipulation and propaganda. Where others peddle fear, you recognize and know love's true power. So I'm going to hold this up again if you want to take a screenshot. But yeah, this is all about recognizing the power of love in your life. And I really love this message connected to like spending time with yourself and like going into what you find to be loving and an expression of love, because it does take a lot of guts, it does take a lot of gumption to find love, to parse out what really is love in a world that tries to, turn certain things like lust and desire. I mean, desire, I'm not going to bag on desire, and lust necessarily isn't a bad thing, but like there are some ways that like love is very conflated with these other kind of feelings that are more focused on attachment and possession rather than like true connection and intimacy. And I feel like you are seeking out like true intimacy with yourself, intimacy with parts of the world, intimacy with truth in a lot of ways. And for some of you, I'm feeling that this is like love within a community setting as well, like finding yourself in relationships that have like healthy boundaries, healthy barriers, healthy expectations in them as well, that also help you to like embrace and encounter these emotions of deeper grief that you are experiencing, especially since this card is saying that like it's time to like take some time alone. So if you have been trying to like date or like rush into certain relationships, or maybe if you've been feeling overwhelmed by existing relationships, this is like Spirit's confirmation that this is time to really, I know it's like cliche, but like keep like loving yourself and like receiving the love that wants to be given to you from the universe through experiences. So let's see what the tarot has to say. And we're going to read reversals. So we have the 9 of Honey here for you and the Page of Dreams. Yeah, this is about like being like a sovereign, self-regulated subject, like not having to look for the luxury or validation outside of yourself in some ways. Like, do you see how this person, like, they have like lots of, the fruits coming out of their mouth, they have like these like coral pieces, sorry, I don't think you can see when I lift it that high, but they have like these coral pieces on their eyebrows, like almost like crystalline forms. They have this beautiful smoker in front of them where they're like sending sacred smoke around them, like cleansing their energy in some ways. They're using like the medicine of plants probably in that. the luxury and like the love of like these bees that are coming around them again. So it's like about community, it's about wealth, it's about like receiving like the benefits of your hard work. I feel like a lot of you have been like craving this almost like shadow work that is coming in to like help you to understand like what is healthy love. And I think shadow work can actually help us be better lovers because we're more conscious about what we want, what we need, and then what we may feel tempted to engage in that is not healthy for us when we're trying to cultivate healthy love. So yeah, this Nine of Honey is like really reminding you that like you are coming into this time, and this actually is a blessing to be able to connect with yourself deeper, because the Nine of Honey, you know, this would be like the Nine of Earth, Nine of Pentacles, but this precurses like the 10 of Honey, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Earth, which would be like a time of like family, partnership, connection, like kind of having your own like home in a sense, whether that be with another person or not. But it's like no matter what your goals are for experiencing love in certain forms, this is representing that like you as an individual are worthy of the love first, and that you having this like strong sense of self in a lot of ways is allowing you to be able to find love in the daily ways that you like take care of yourself, and that doesn't just have to be in like going overboard with like indulgence, but this, you know, caring for yourself can also be like having foresight, knowing what will be good for you in 6 months rather than something that's good for you just right now. So I feel like there's something here again about like restoring your sovereignty, reclaiming your power. So I'm getting a sense from your spirit guides that like doing something like a soul retrieval type of ritual, or something where you're like a meditation to like call your power back, is going to be really insightful for you and transformative in terms of like restoring your energy, and helping you to feel like you have the love that you need, and that you're sustained emotionally. Because you're not like seeking again that like validation from outside yourself. Like your energy is like a sovereign unit, and no one can take that from you or steal your energy or, you know, vampirize your energy in some ways too. So you have the Page of Dreams too. This is signifying that this is a new chapter in your mindset, in what you envision to be true. And with this caterpillar here too, it's like emphasizing that like something like a new life is coming for you. So if this is having to do with like spending time with your children or kids, I'm just seeing that like youthful energy. Like this is also like recognizing that like you can share in the love by acknowledging like their potential, what you want to see. So definitely like keeping your eyes on how you want to see the world change. I'm going back to this card too about like seeking freedom where the world succumbs to manipulation and propaganda. It's like gifting that freedom as an act of love to the world feels really important to you, whether that be through community or through like raising the next generations. And it feels like this is like an act of vulnerability too, like recognizing what you actually want versus what you've maybe been conditioned to seek out in relationships or in partnerships, or even in like other forms of intimacy like friendships and business, and family. So yeah, this feels like definitely a time of having that beginner's mindset and recognizing that like you need this clean slate in a lot of ways, because like this kind of like swirling motif is in both of them. So that feels like there's a lot of like cleansing that's happening. Maybe even doing like actual smoke cleanses or steams, like herbal steams would be important. Like if you are trying to detox from a relationship, if you've been through some type of breakup, doing like if you have this anatomy, like yoni steam, or just steaming your body in general, no matter what your anatomy is, with intentional herbs, doing like a steamy type of bath that would be like a cleansing ritual, or putting like a steamer in the shower potentially as well. I'm just seeing like the steam and the mist being really important to you to help to lift that fog as the steam cleanses you. So let's see your final oracle card. You have fulgurite and rosebay willow herb, regeneration, acceleration, change, and shamanic wisdom. So yeah, with this shamanic energy, this is talking about like that transformative power. And the lightning striking too is like talking about like sudden insight, bursts of inspiration, and I feel like reclaiming your energy and restoring your own energetic system, regardless of what's going on in your relationships, is really going to help you have that insight of what your vision is, what makes you feel like you want to be vulnerable with it, what makes you feel safe to be vulnerable, what helps you to feel like the love is an exchange, a mutual expression rather than something that's maybe taking from you, because it is time to regenerate yourself, to accept this change. And I actually don't know too much about fulgurite or rosebay willow herb, but I feel like I should look. I don't know, kind of going into the timing that I want to close out the reading, but I do want to get you your message. So one moment. Okay, so I found it. And fulgurite is actually related to lightning. So it's about lightning striking the sand or the soil. And it's saying it's like an activator, helping you to embrace shifts, you know, let go of outdated systems and habits. And it's saying it's like connected to your spine and expansive through the throat. So with this like blue color that's shown up in multiple of your cards, like there's this essence of like speaking your truth. Yeah, it's asking like, what are you searching for within the heart? What aligns with your heart? And it helps you to manifest too. So this is a really good time to invoke new things, intentions, and help you to manifest different things. If you don't have fulgurite, you can also work with obsidian or lava stone. Anything that's kind of related to that like fiery transformative energy, and like flame in general. If you don't work with earth or crystals, you can do that instead. So rosebay willow herb is a freedom herb, and it's also connected to thunder. So yeah, it's about like shaking things up, raw elemental powers of change. Yeah, it's helping you to release, stand tall, integrate things that are on the horizon, protecting your body to like regenerate. So yeah, this is all about like recovering from trauma in a lot of ways too, like things that have obstructed your ability to feel loved and to give love freely. So let's see your final affirmation, group 4. You have my head and heart communicate freely. I allow my thoughts to engage with my feelings in harmony. I'm going to hold this up to the camera as well in case you want to take a screenshot. This is a beautiful affirmation I feel like you could repeat to yourself over and over, just reminding yourself, you know, my head and heart communicate freely. I allow my thoughts to engage with my feelings in harmony. So this is like attuning you back to your sense of self so that you can go into these realms of service, of finding love in a broader sense, so it's not so dependent maybe on one experience or one or two like substances in some ways. For some of you, it just feels like you're like breaking away and cleansing so that you can get more in touch with what your feelings really mean to you and how to discern when you're feeling something as well. You know, we can know that we're feeling a certain way, like we're feeling bad or we're feeling good, but then to go deeper and recognize where that emotion is, what that emotion's stemming from, like what are the factors of that emotion and how to express and deal with that emotion as well. That helps us to come into deeper love with the world, because, you know, then we don't have blockages in relationships and we can be clear about what we want, and what we need from others as well, and what satisfies us. So I hope this was helpful, group 4. Thank you so very much for being here. If you are interested in a personal reading, I do have that listed down below in the description. Otherwise, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in another video. Bye.